Okay, we're on. Welcome to my kitchen again. What I'm going to do this time is rehydrate, or not really rehydrate, but bring back to life a sourdough starter that was already in use. So how I got here with this, I made sourdough starter out of flour and water, and I used it for maybe a month or two, and I got tired of feeding it and making bread all the time, and I decided just to kind of put it away and see if I could store it and how to do that. And watching videos on YouTube, most people recommend putting it away in the refrigerator, so I gave it a try. First step is to feed your starter really well, and you don't want it to be dead sitting around for a week. You want to have a freshly fed starter, and that's kind of, I would imagine that be the key to it. You want it to be as strong as possible, so when you throw it in the refrigerator it can come back strong. This one was in about, I'd say 6 weeks. I planned on taking it out the 1st of July. It's mid-July, so it's a good 6 weeks it's been in here. I took it out maybe 8 hours ago, and I put it on the counter. Now what I noticed, I don't know if you can read this in the video, but that was on, it's on the 10-ounce mark. If you look, it's about 10 ounces. But when I took it out, it was right below the 8-ounce mark on this jar. So it's actually expanded a little bit. And I can also see activity when I took the lid off. When I took the lid off the first time, it really made a popping sound. So it was working, developing pressure, and when I put it on the countertop, it started multiplying and building more pressure. And if you can look inside, you can kind of see some bubbles in there. If you can get a good look at it. If you look at those bubbles, there's something going on. See, there's one right now on the right hand side. So there is definitely activity inside there. So I feel real confident that as soon as I put some flour on there, it's going to go. What I'm using is King Arthur bread flour, and I'm going to put half a cup of that in there and half a cup of water, and that should take care of it. I don't want to do the flour one-handed because I'll spill it everywhere, but basically first step is put these two items together. I'm going to mix it up, give it a stir. I'm going to put the lid on loose. I'll probably mark the side and put another, just to take a little Sharpie and put a little dot somewhere where it ends up. That way if I can see if it's growing. But I have no doubt about it. It's going to go. And then I'll use it again. Mostly this is an exercise just to maintain my starter. I've had it in there 6 weeks. I don't know if that's would kill it or not. So I do want to make some bread, and I also want to see if bringing this back to life is possible. And I think it's going to be good to go. And I'll come back with another video and show more activity. Okay, so I have it mixed up, and the starter is, let's see, 12, almost 13 ounces on here. I'm going to put a little dot right here. I'm going to put a dot there, so it'll give me a line. And I'm going to check it in the morning. It's about 7 o'clock in the evening. I'll check it tomorrow, give it a good 12 hours. See how it goes, and I'll feed. I'm working with another starter now, so I'm going to feed both of them in the morning and see what happens. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna it's going to start moving. You might see some bubbles. That's just from me mixing it up. I don't know if it's actually the activity. It's probably just settling down in. It's a pretty good zoom. And there's no off odor or anything like that. You want to make sure it doesn't have a bad smell. And I might transfer it into a fresh jar too after this. But I'm pretty sure in the next day or two I might be able to, if it really kicks in, I might be able to make bread with it. Alright, see you next video. Okay, take a look at that. That's 3 hours after putting water and flour into the refrigerated starter. And it's already come up, I can't tell now, it's what, 12, 13 ounce mark. So that's a good bit above. And I put it in, it's a little over 3 hours, maybe 3.5. But it's climbing. It's definitely an active starter. I could put that in with some flour now and actually overnight it would start rising. I'm amazed at how fast that came back. But there you go. Okay, so here we are again. This is overnight. It's filled it all the way up, expanded. I don't think it's going to overflow, but you never know. So that's not quite 10 to 12 hours. And it looks pretty good. And I'm going to take that and put it into a bigger jar and feed it up. So there you go. Reactivating the starter after being in the refrigerator. And the next video will be on the Sally active yeast, bringing it back to life. Okay, so now that I've got my, can't get the lid off. So now that I have my starter regenerated, you can kind of see I fed it again this morning. You can see bubbles popping out. It's working good. So I took some of it and I made, this morning I made some pizza dough. I just started. There's a better picture of it. It's on the rise. I need to punch it down. So I want to try to punch it down with one hand. Got a little bit of olive oil on there. Keep it wet. This is about 3.5 cups of flour. Maybe about 1/3 of the jar of starter. Handful of pink Himalayan salt. A little bit of olive oil. Just work it in this board. I guess I did that this morning about 9 o'clock. It's 11 now. It's 2 hours on the rise. This is pretty fast for sourdough. Usually it takes a long time. But if it's well fed, it'll work. Get a better shot here. It's hard to look at the screen and do this at the same time. So don't be afraid to slam it. Kind of tuck it in. One-handed tuck. This is already pretty greasy from the last time. Put it back inside. Take a damp towel. Throw it over top. Let it sit for a while. And in a few hours, it's going to be pizza time. If I can open this up, it's stuck. It exploded overnight and rose into the lid. You can see it. But this is doing pretty good. I mean, that's what you're looking for. I almost hate to put it back in the refrigerator and put it back on ice. I think I'm going to take this and make some sourdough bread with this one instead of pizza. Well, this one's ready to go, so I'm going to take my bowl and make another batch up. I do it the same way. 3.5 tablespoons of flour. I'll take maybe half of this and pour it down in there. And this time I'm going to put sesame seeds on top. I always forget to do that. So I'm going to roll some of these sesame seeds on the top of it. Sometimes when I'm making pizza dough, I'll take oregano. I'll take that and put it in there. I'll put some basil. Take that and put it right in the dough and knead it in. Gives it a little extra flavoring. Here's the salt. I'll use a little bit of salt. You really need to use salt. I know people don't like extra sodium, but to flavor the bread, you need to do a little bit of that. That's about it. And there's your no Fleischmann's yeast starter, ready to go. And that'll be it for this video. Okay, here's sourdough that I revived. It's now a pizza. It's just half. So 3 cups makes enough for 2. So that's half of it there, rising still. And I'm just going to make a simple pizza. 550 at 10 minutes. And I'll do a quick shot when it gets done. Okay, so here's the finished product. Just a white pizza, simple white pizza with mozzarella in there. Margarita pizza. And that's made with my revitalized sourdough. And I guess that'll be it. Next video, I'm probably going to put it back in the refrigerator and see how long. Since I did 6 weeks, I think I'm going to go maybe 2 months in the refrigerator and try to pull it back out. And I guess eventually see how long it takes to, or how long it can stay in the refrigerator without killing it. So there we go. Dinner time. I was actually done making this video and I was getting ready to use this starter. And I took the top of it off. I just wanted to show how much it just kept going and going and going. This thing's really bubbling. When I took the lid off, it just, a lot of pressure. That lid's got a lot of stuff on it. It made a seal. Usually it's loose. Let me get some different light. You can see it better there. There you go. But that thing's pretty active, so I'm just going to take this one and throw about half of it down in some flour, and that should rise right nicely. And that'll be it for the starter. Thanks.